Hello and welcome to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's the Hulu series Woke. So before we get started here, let me take care of some business and then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the very end of this video. You're going to see a video pop up here. And basically, what YouTube does takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like that, hit that subscribe button down below there. If you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. I also have future stuff in there too. If you look further down on the list too, as to what's coming out for the rest of the year or sometimes next year, that kind of thing. I've got to update it for WandaVision, by the way. And also I have all the links to my social media. So Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. No tiers saved on the Patreon. I'm waiting until I get 1,000 subscribers, and then I will give you stuff if you give me money. So that's how it works. Usually a barter system. Also, I have the link to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page for those of you who still have Facebook, so you can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right, let's get to this. So this is the non-spoiler version portion right here of this show. So this is on Hulu, Woke, and it's based on a true story. The main character is named Keith Knight in the show, but it's actually Keith Knight is the guy who this is based off of, and he actually wrote this. A cartoonist in San Francisco who everything was kind of going along for him fine. He was living in his own world, had a comic that was getting ready to go into syndication, all this stuff. And then he gets tackled by police in a case of mistaken identity. You know, he fit the profile of a mugger in the area and gets tackled and ends up with PTSD and starts becoming woke to things, as they say. And first of all, you're going to say, well, Dennis, why are you covering this? This isn't genre. Actually, it is, because of the way the character starts seeing things. It's actually, he's a cartoonist, so he is seeing things from a cartoonist perspective, and you see animation stuff going on. So there's that. And then also you're going to say, well, Dennis, you're actually pretty white to be doing this, aren't you? Yes, I am. Um, so yeah, the thing is, I'm just looking at it from my own perspective at this, and mileage is going to vary on this. I'll tell you that right now. And uh, I'm not going to say I'm woke or anything like that. That, you know, I'm just too white for that. So yeah. Going back to the series. So as he's going through this PTSD from what happened to him, he is starting to become aware of racial, inadequacies that are happening around him, to him, uh, and with his work, he pretty much destroys his life at one point, and that's what this whole series is all about. Now, without spoiling anything, of course, it really kind of only touches the surface of some issues. It really doesn't, how should I say this? It brings up an issue, kind of discusses it lightly, and then moves on to something else. And that's kind of how this whole series goes. Granted, it's done by ABC Studios. So ABC Studios was the one that bankrolled this. I don't know also if it was because of the author, because as they call him, he's kind of a hipster in a way. He's black, of course, but he isn't. No, it's not preachy or anything like that. Well, I don't know, Raymond. You might consider it preachy. I don't. But then again, I'm from San Francisco, so these are people that when I was looking at this, these are people that I would have hung out with, quite honestly. uh, these are people that I know, from my time in San Francisco. And Yes, there are some really great jokes in here. Um, and there are established comedians. I agree with you, Joe Greer. So Eddie Griffin is in here, JB Smoove. Um, I've got to go through the list here. I actually have it up. Um, you got Nicole Byer who's in here, Cedric the Entertainer. Um, I'm trying to think who else. I mean, there's just so many people. Cree Summers in here. Um, but yeah, these are all voices of different inanimate objects that are talking to him at some point in time. You even get Keith David at one point, which is an awesome cameo. He does a great job, and I'm not going to say what he does, but he comes later in the series. And the roommates are awesome too. Yes, you do have the one white guy who is played by Blake Anderson. It's Gunther is his name. Um, and yeah, he's actually he has the same kind of mindset that they do. And I mean, it's and in fact, he almost gets more offended at some of the stuff that happens than some of the characters, the other characters do, or the other people, his other roommates do. So, and that also plays into the issues that are being brought up. But again, like I said, the issues are raised but never really explored. And if you had taken this, it could have gone a bit further, but I'm fairly sure the reason why they didn't, because they didn't want to scare people. And they wanted another season out of this, of course. And I don't know if they're going to get it because they didn't go anywhere far enough with it. Yes, and I agree with you. Rose McIver is in this as well. She plays a love interest, an Australian. So you actually have a foreign point of view of all of this as well. Although being Australian Aborigines, there's another whole host of issues with that too. Uh, and there was some nudity too. I was not expecting to see. Yeah, there's a brief flash of nudity, and you're just like, "Whoa, okay, there we go." That's all I'm going to say on that one. I'm not going to say who it was, but yeah, there you go. Considering that was ABC Studios again that did this, um, yeah. So again, your mileage may vary on this. Again, it's on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, you can give it a shot and see what you think. Um, I wasn't disappointed in seeing it. I love Lamorne Morris is of course the main character. He's Keith Knight in this. Uh, he just I don't know, man. The dude is somebody to watch as an actor. He everything he's in is good. He's good in it. He could be in a shit movie like, Bloodshot, and he elevates it because he's actually in it. He was actually the best character in Bloodshot. And the only reason why, I semi like, it's because of his character. And everyone else in this is great too. Um, And I have to give any show that actually teaches me a new word as well. I have to really like. So there was a word called "fumfering," and it means to mumble. And the way it was brought in was genius. I mean, it was really done well in the dialogue and all this stuff. And I actually had to look it up because I'm like, "fumfering? I've never heard of that before." And I look it up on my phone. I'm like, "Well, holy shit, it is a new word. I learned a new word. All right." So you know, there you go. So is it worth your time? As a sitcom, yes, it would be worth your time. As something that is going to uh you know, challenge any kind of um race relations, because and honestly, it brings up race relations, it brings up interracial relationships, of course, too. Also, it brings up things like sexual orientation and how that plays into things too. And again, it brings up all these issues, but doesn't really, just kind of touches on them, skims the surface, and doesn't really get into them. So if you're looking for that out of this, you're not going to get it, and I can't recommend it to you on that one. I would say no, it's not worth your time at that point. So sitcom, yes, it's actually an above average sitcom. As something that's a social commentary, no. I would not recommend it. It's just going to piss you off, is all it's going to do as a social commentary. So, do you think you'd like it, Morks? I don't know. For example, I'm just going to throw one thing out there. This will be one spoiler thing. In the very first episode, and it was the one thing that made me laugh the hardest out of everything, was they're doing photo shoots for his syndication, right? Because he's bringing out this new comic, and you see them lightening his face, and they make his complexion lighter in the photo, and his pen is talking to him as he's getting ready to go out into this crowd at a convention, and the pen brings up and goes, "Look at that picture up there. That's not you. That's Wesley Snipes doing a kabuki production of A Raisin in the Sun." And I fucking lost it, because I mean, that is fucking funny. It really is. And I mean, I actually had to pause it because I lost like a good 2 minutes of it from laughing. And because when you see the picture, you're literally going to go, "Oh shit, he's right," you know? But yeah, and I agree with you, Joker. Morris proved that he can be a leading man with this project. I agree with you. This is kind of more of a stepping stone for him to get into other projects and lead things. He's got great comedic talent. I would almost dare say that he could do serious work as well, some drama and whatnot. I'd have to see a little bit more for him to do it, but comedic chops, he's flat on perfect on this stuff. So again, sitcom, yes, it's worth it. If you're looking for social commentary, any kind of commentary socially on this, no, I would say no. So with that said, spoiler alert, I'm going to spoil the rest of this. If you haven't seen the series, go and watch it or not, and then come on back, and then this will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. So yeah, it's only half-hour episodes, so it's really easy, and there's only 8 episodes in there, so you're looking at a 4-hour movie. It's actually less than half-hour episodes on that. I'm trying to think now. The one thing that really kind of hit home for me on something, and something I've brought up before too in my real life, is there's one it's near the end of the episodes, episode 7, I believe, where he's going to a lawyer because he's getting sued by the company who now owns the rights to his comic because of the meltdown that he had. And he gets stuck in traffic because there's a koala that escaped the San Francisco Zoo, and called Cubby. And at one point, I mean, everyone's rooting for Cubby. I mean, he's on the bus for hours. They won't let him off the bus. He really just wants to go to the lawyer because it's a free lawyer at this point and everything. And he becomes the crazy person on the bus, even though there's a guy dressed in a gown covered in shit for the most part, and sweatpants. And you can tell he has some mental issues. And that guy is panhandling on the bus trying to get some money for food, drugs, whatever. No one will give him any money, but someone starts a fucking Kickstarter or a PayPal account or something for Cubby, and it goes to $12,000 like instantly. People on the bus are going, "I'm putting in $100. You want me to put you in for some?" and all this stuff. And yet everyone's ignoring the guy who actually has needs on board the bus. And this character Keith, once he gets off the bus, he actually brings us up to a group of people and goes, "What the fuck?" And by the way, Cubby ends up getting and this is just wrong, but he ends up getting killed by the police. Um, he ends up getting tackled and killed by the police, and it's comical, but at the same time, it's paralleled of what we see with police brutality and the black community, basically what's going on. And he even brings that up too. He goes, "You don't care about me," is what he says. "You care about this fucking thing behind me." And he's looking, pointing at Cubby. And he goes, "You also, there's this guy on the bus who is in real need, and you won't give him any money, but you give this fucking thing a college education. Why? And he brings it up, and it's all done in like about a minute and a half, and it's cut short by a guy in a giant koala costume that punches him out and knocks him out because it doesn't want to go any further than that conversation of bringing it up and then letting it hang there. And yeah, it was one of those things I was just kind of like, "Oh, so this is how it's going to be. You're just going to bring an issue up and then let it hang and then not really resolve it." And then go and smoke some pot, which is usually what the characters are doing, or in the case of Gunther, it's uh, energy drink, but it really looks like Coke is really what it is. So, yeah, and at the very end, the very last episode, where he confronts the cop that tackled him, and that cop is suing him because of it's a couple of almost a year later, essentially, and he's been seeing a therapist and drawing out what happened because it helps him to draw it, and he's gotten work off of this, of course. And the cop is suing him because he's saying that his kid now looks at him in a bad light because of the cartoon, because the kid looks at cartoons or reads cartoons out of the paper. And so he just wants an apology from Keith. And Keith's like, no, fuck that. And he sends I love what he does actually. He sends everyone out of the bar. So it's just him and the cop finally, because it's a public relations thing that's going on. And he basically starts questioning the cop. He goes, "Oh, there's the real you." When the cop finally says, "Yeah, I'm not sorry at all," essentially is what he says. "I just want my kid to like me again," kind of thing. And so that even doesn't go any further than just raising up that issue. And it's kind of aggravating, honestly. You get to that point where it's like, okay, you're finally going to do something about it, and no, you don't. So yes, he does flick beer in the cop's face and finally gets arrested for flicking beer because he goes, "What constitutes a threat?" And he's flicking the beer in the cop's face each time, going, "Is this a threat? How about this? Is this a threat?" Kind of thing. And finally, the cop warns him and he gets arrested. So, did the artist being sued really happen or is it fiction? I don't remember, Penn, to tell you the truth. There's so much litigation that goes on in San Francisco. You kind of just it goes in one ear and out, or out one eye and in the other, or in one eye and out the other. I don't know how it is. So really, yeah, you kind of just get blind to it. But I kind of want to think that from the way this was set, it looks like this took place before the Tech Bro thing. So I'm guessing it's early 2000s is when when he was in the city, which is when I was there too. That's why I recognize it, because it's not the city that like it is now. And when I say the city, that's what people from San Francisco call it. They call it the city. And um, yeah, the San Francisco now is completely unrecognizable from what you see in that series. So yeah. So yeah, I like I said, if you're looking for a funny above average sitcom, sure, I'd recommend it. If you're looking for social commentary with some resolution to that social commentary, this is not the place for you to find it. It won't be there. Yeah. Joker says I have to listen to stories about SF now on NPR. Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, honestly, from the 90s until like, 2010, somewhere around there. Even the 80s too. I mean, the 70s and the 80s were a special time in San Francisco, I'll tell you that. Um, the 90s are when you had the first tech bubble kind of going, and that popped near the end of the 90s. And then you had the second tech bubble, which is what it is now. Yeah. Yeah, there are many changes. Yeah, you have a lot of so it was kind of weird. I knew people in both the tech industry and I knew people in the artist industry, and sometimes those two, industries would collide in San Francisco, but um, one usually it was the tech industry would push out the artist industry because the artist industry doesn't have that much money. So you get pushed out to the East Bay, then you get pushed out further, then you get pushed you know, out of the Bay Area altogether because you get priced out. But yeah, that's why, I mean, you used to have some really weird ass, funky, artistic stuff that was going on in San Francisco that any day of the week you could go to. My favorite was, oh, fuck, what was it called? It was about wrestling, totally weird wrestling. God, I can't remember the name of it now. Basically, what it was you got a packet of tortillas when you went in uh, to see a wrestling thing, and you have guys wrestling in gorilla costumes. You'd have vertically challenged people, shall we say, that were wrestling and all this kind of stuff. Incredibly strange wrestling. There we go. It's called incredibly strange wrestling. That's what it was, and you would throw tortillas at the ring, you know, during this kind of shit. And yeah, I mean, totally random crap. I remember going to a roller derby fundraiser in the Mission, and this in the 90s. And this is in a warehouse someplace. They set up a very small, like ramshackle roller rink inside this warehouse. So you're having beer or drinks or whatever it was, along with like they had what they were calling a white trash food, like tater tots and franks and whatnot. And you'd pay for this stuff, and all the money went to help this roller derby crew that were out there banging into each other in this makeshift ramshackle roller rink. And I remember going to shit like that, I would go to illegal bars, that kind of thing, that would be set up in the middle of nowhere in some warehouse just because I knew a person who knew a person who knew a person. Um, and it's kind of actually, if you look at John Favreau's first movie, Swingers, you have a lot of that kind of stuff, only without the, everyone going in single file in their cars. There was a lot of that kind of attitude at the time, but not as stuffy. LA was a little bit stuffier than San Francisco. So, yeah. There's a lot of weird shit that went on, man. I mean, a lot of weird shit. And we lost a lot of it too. I mean, that's what made San Francisco great back then, was you had a bunch of weird shit that you could go and see or not if you didn't want to, and wondered what the fuck you just saw. For example, and this is totally random, I'm in a bar in the Mission um, with someone I was dating at the time, and this bar was kind of a rough bar. I mean, it was one where literally outside, I remember a couple of weeks after we had been there, two guys chased down another guy down the street outside this bar and shot him down in the street, and no one saw who it was. That's how rough this neighborhood was. So anyway, we're in the bar, we're having drinks. People are playing pool. There's a lot of rough looking people in this place. And I go up to the jukebox and I saw that Dean Martin's That's Amore was on there. So I pop it in, I click it on and didn't think anything of it. Go and sit back down. Some other music, other people had put their music into. It plays. And then That's Amore comes on, right? And as soon as it stops, everyone kind of stops for a second in the bar. And you see people start swaying to the music. And then people start singing along. The entire bar, and I shit you not, start singing to That's Amore, the entire song. And then as soon as it's done, everyone goes back to what the fuck they were doing. It's one of those things that like I said, the girl I was dating at the time, she's like, "What the fuck just happened?" And I'm like, "I don't know." You know? Yeah, it's one of those surreal things that you're just kind of like, no one will believe you unless they were there. And luckily I had a witness to that, but, yeah, it was one of those things that you just kind of go, Okay," and stuff like that happened. I mean, you would have weird shit that would happen. I would also say that, every time, bad shit would happen, like really, really, really weird, surreal shit would happen if you ever saw the Oscar Mayer wiener truck in San Francisco. As soon as you saw that, you just turn around and go back home because for some reason that was the omen of really bad things to happen. So, yeah, as weird as that sounds, that's like 5 times I've had that where the Oscar Mayer wiener truck has shown up, and I believe I realized that by the 3rd time, and I'm like, "Fuck this, I'm going back home," because then just weird shit would happen the rest of the day. I don't know if it was a harbinger of doom or what, but it was. Anyway, going back to woke. Um, and yes, by the way, this is water, it's not vodka, so just so you know, because otherwise I'd have ice in it if it was vodka. Yeah. Yes, the Oscar Mayer wiener truck of doom. That's what it is. The harbinger of wiener doom. So yeah, like I said again, I can only recommend this if you're just looking at it as a regular sitcom, not if you're looking for social commentary with some resolution to it. Just not gonna happen. So, yeah. So let me ask you all. Um, I'm still on the fence about this, but considering the dearth of programming out there that's going on right now, it's kind of a little bit of a lull that's going on. His Dark Material starts up on Monday. Um, what do you guys think? Do you want me to cover season 2 or not? It could be a shit show on my end on this one, but I'm asking you, let me know in the comments section of this video what you think, if you want me to do this or not. It could be very, very ugly. We don't know. But like I said, there's nothing going on at the moment. So yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna see me doing more of these. Is it worth my time? Yeah. Check out episode 1, see if it's improved. Raymond says if you do it, I'll watch it. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I've been thinking about it because it premieres on Monday is when it does. And like I said, I'm having a scheduling issues. Give it a chance. Hey man, I gave season 1 a chance. I mean, I went through the entire season and I was kind of waiting for something to happen, and it's like, yeah, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Raymond says I like the acting, but the story is meh. Yeah. Have you watched Calm on HBO Max? I have not. No, I don't even know what that is. I was thinking about watching the Ian McGregor, what was it, Third Day or something like that, and I never got around to it either. But who knows? So, great narrators. Okay. So, what else do I have coming up this week? Tomorrow is The Mandalorian. That's right. Nope, I don't have it anywhere within reach. I was going to show you the stuff that I'm giving away at the end of The Mandalorian, but I don't even know where I put it now. Hmm. Oh well, I'll find it again. There's some really interesting mugs, but that's going to be on tomorrow. Is The Mandalorian? Um, Saturday is going to be Saturday morning blast off, where I take the genre news of the weekend and the genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. Sunday I'll be off. It'll be a Sunday off on this one, and it looks like Monday I'll be doing His Dark Materials season 2, episode 1. Do that, yeah. Um, let's see. Do I want to do Tuesday again, or yeah, let's do that. Tuesday will be an episode of Is It Worth My Time? I don't know what I'm going to be doing as of yet, but I'll figure something out. Wednesday I'll be off, and then Thursday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time as well. So we come back around again. See if I make it 4 episodes into yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it goes on His Dark Materials. but we'll see. Have you seen Slight? No, I don't know what that is either. Yeah. I've been watching a lot of just to kind of mellow out and stuff like that. I've been watching a lot of Forged in Fire because it's on Netflix, or just one season's on Netflix anyway. And that kind of mellows me out watching guys build knives in a really shitty short amount of time. I don't know why. It just does. It's kind of one of those things. But I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. I will see you again tomorrow for The Mandalorian. Until then, if you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the very end here. You're going to see a video pop up here, someplace in this area. And basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match as best as possible one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, while you're down there, if you can hit the like button and the share button as well, that'd be great. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, where I've got my schedule up there, all the links to my social media, and the links to this YouTube channel, Facebook, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. Oh, let's see here. Joe says, I wonder if a night fight will return. It was oh no, that's not gonna night fight. Yeah, night fight's not gonna return. I think too many people got injured and sued them because there were some really gnarly injuries that happened there. I think I watched like 1 or 2 episodes and stopped. Those guys were going a little too like out there for it instead of what they normally would do, and I think some of them got pretty messed up. So anyway, I want to let you guys go for the night. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up, having some kind of 40-ounce bottle talking to you in a convenience store for no good reason other than you're just kind of a little bit crazy. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Take care. Stay safe. Be well. And wear a mask, because we're hitting into round 3, I think is what's going on now at this point. Shit's rising. So, yeah, stay safe out there. Thanks, everyone. Good night.